It's rare to witness something new on a football field these days. While moments of brilliance are plentiful, we've grown accustomed to seeing Cristiano Ronaldo's dancing feet, Lionel Messi's slaloming runs, the Johan Cruyff turns, 30-yard pile drivers, and backheeled assists. We've watched them live, in highlights, and if you want more, you can go on YouTube. But one player's brilliance remains an enigma, a breath of fresh air that defies familiarity. This is Yannick Bolasie. He's a master of the extraordinary, a winger whose absurd skills and fleet of foot consistently leave fans on the edge of their seats and onto their feet in expectation, either baffled or overjoyed. There was no in-between. In this video, we will reveal how Yannick Bolasie, an African showboater, conquered the Premier League. Born in France and raised in England, Yannick Bolasie wasn't your typical footballer who developed a love for football at a young age. Instead, his interest was in rap music.
Keeping it real with man like Ash. Ask when I'm far from trash. Bars got too much class like Dave and Tom.
However, he decided to give football a chance after experiencing an epiphany moment while watching a football match on TV. He joined a football academy, but after a brief 4-month stint, he forsook professional ranks to return to his roots, joining a lower division English side. His meager compensation amounted to a £20 match fee and a burger bounty for each goal he contributed. A far cry from the glamour of professional football, but a start nonetheless. But his cousins, all professional footballers, came to his rescue. Fortuitously, a cousin's friend suffered an injury while playing for Floriana in Malta, leaving the team in need of a short-term replacement. His cousin pulled some strings to get him a trial. Bolasie impressed Floriana during the trial and subsequently joined the club. But what really turned his fortunes around was his decision to start recording his matches and editing his own highlight reels, just like he used to do with his rap music videos. He showcased his talent on YouTube, sharing the videos with his cousin's agents, who subsequently circulated them among clubs. Interest in the young forward surged throughout Europe. Despite being approached by several teams like Sturm Graz in Austria and Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga, he ultimately chose Plymouth because he wanted to return to England. He ended his stint in Malta when he was offered a trial by Plymouth. But upon joining Plymouth, the management didn't think he was good enough to play for their first team. They attempted to send him out on loan multiple times. After a failed trial at Denham, he ended up on a 6-month loan at Rushden and Diamonds, the very same non-league club he had left a few years before. During the winter transfer window, Bolasie joined Barnet, where his performance significantly improved. A pivotal moment came when he impressed ex-Crystal Palace player and agent Tony Finnegan, who was watching the game. Bolasie's impressive display prompted Finnegan to approach him after the match. He subsequently met with Bolasie's parents, confidently assuring them he could secure their son a Premier League spot within 3 years. He wasn't far off. Just a few months later, Bolasie's loan ended, and Plymouth got into financial trouble. But with the guidance of Finnegan, Bolasie was able to secure a move to Bristol City for just £10,000 on a 2-year contract. The club's assistant manager described Bolasie's signing as a dream come true, expressing astonishment at acquiring a player of such exceptional talent for such a modest fee. Despite spending 1 season at the club, Bolasie showcased his brilliance, particularly when running at defenses, with his impressive work rate and tenacity. He played a total of 23 games for the club throughout their 2011-2012 campaign. His goal during their end-of-season match against Coventry City saved his team from relegation. Although he was named the club's Young Player of the Season, Bolasie handed in a transfer request at the end of his first season because he wanted to return to London, and he got his wish when Crystal Palace picked him up on a 3-year deal for £500,000. Upon joining Palace, Bolasie encountered a struggling team with a winless start to the season, but he was determined to help the team turn their season around. By October, Palace had climbed out of the relegation zone and into the top 4, with Bolasie and Zaha proving a formidable attacking duo capable of tormenting Premier League defenders. Bolasie came to be regarded as one of the Premier League's most technically gifted players, attributes that, when combined with his pace and power, make him a feared opponent, though he's prone to being unpredictable at times. For example, finishing had never been his strong point. Blessed with blistering speed and exceptional dribbling, he effortlessly bypassed multiple defenders. However, his finishing proved inconsistent, with many shots soaring harmlessly over the crossbar. While any other Premier League striker would have been condemned for their inconsistency in front of the goal, Bolasie's contributions went beyond goal scoring. When Zaha left Palace for Manchester United, Bolasie took over as the team's creative force, leading them to a season that would go down in history as one of the best. Not only did they break their relegation jinx in the Premier League era, but they also came close to achieving a top 10 finish. A standout moment in Bolasie's Palace career was the penultimate match against Liverpool. With 12 minutes left and Liverpool leading by 3 goals, Palace staged an incredible comeback. Damien Delaney scored first, followed by Bolasie. The New York Times recounted that Bolasie darted up the left flank in a rapid counterattack and rolled his boot over the top of the ball to move it one way before, with the outside of his boot slotting a perfect pass for Dwight Gale to make it 3-2. Gale scored again 2 minutes from time to make it a 3-3 draw. This extraordinary comeback represented just the 24th instance in Premier League history where a team overcame a 3-goal deficit to secure victory. It was one of the most remarkable moments for Palace and their fans, and Bolasie was behind it all. Bolasie's impact on defenders was unparalleled. He was a different breed, and while other teams might have attempted to mold him into a different player, Palace appreciated his distinctive abilities and placed their faith in him. As Alan Pardew would later say, "We recognized he was a maverick, but trusted him." His subsequent games were victory upon victory for Palace, but his most incredible performance came in a match against Sunderland. This first half prompted Alan Pardew to reposition Bolasie centrally, a tactical shift that yielded immediate dividends. Within 3 minutes, Bolasie provided the assist for Glenn Murray's goal, followed by 2 quick-fire strikes of his own, a powerful shot and a delicate chip over the goalkeeper. In the 11th minute, he scored his 3rd goal to make it a hat-trick, the first in the history of Crystal Palace in the Premier League and also the fastest. It was indeed a performance unlike any other in Crystal Palace history. Just when it seemed like Bolasie had reached his peak, a muscle injury sidelined him for 2 months. Upon his return, driven by a desire to secure Palace's inaugural European qualification, Bolasie poured his heart and soul into the FA Cup campaign. He played a pivotal role in reaching the final, scoring a crucial penalty to open the scoring in the semi-final. Although Palace ultimately lost the match, Bolasie's performances attracted transfer offers from top clubs. Tottenham was particularly interested, but Bolasie, an avid Arsenal fan, was hesitant to join their rivals. Everton eventually made the move when a new opportunity arose at the club with the transfer of ownership to billionaire Farhad Moshiri. Everton paid a staggering £35 million to acquire Bolasie from Crystal Palace, setting a new club transfer record while securing Palace's most lucrative sale. This monumental deal catapulted Bolasie into the echelon of the most expensive African footballers, surpassed in value only by Sadio Mane by a mere £1 million. Bolasie made a promising start, delivering a precise cross that Lukaku converted in their debut match together, and this marked the start of a productive relationship which Lukaku profited immensely. Even if Bolasie did snatch the ball from his teammates' feet to net an impressive goal at Burnley. A period of inconsistencies followed with Bolasie's performances, first suffering together with the rest of the team as the 2016-17 season developed. This was until disaster struck for the Congolese star when he suffered a severe knee injury in a match against Manchester United, awkwardly twisting his knee under a challenge and sustaining a ruptured ligament and torn meniscus. This cruel blow brought his fledgling season to a premature end after just 13 Premier League appearances. After a lengthy recovery spanning over a year, Bolasie finally returned on Boxing Day 2017 against West Brom. However, as he played in more games, it soon became clear that he needed a lot more game time to develop anything approaching sufficient matchday sharpness, if at all possible. The truth of the situation only came out nearly a year later, when Bolasie admitted that he returned to playing in the club far too early and with inadequate preparation. The kind of knee injury he suffered had taken a significant toll on his primary assets of pace, acceleration, and agility, though. At 29, despite his energetic ability, it became that his most productive days in an Everton jersey were behind him. That seemed to be confirmed under new manager Marco Silva, with Bolasie spending the entire pre-season sidelined with an injury, leading him to explore other options for regular playing time. Although Middlesbrough expressed interest and agreed on a deal, it ultimately fell through due to their inability to pay more than a third of his £70,000 weekly salary. Everton subsequently negotiated a better agreement with Aston Villa, but by mid-November, Bolasie had yet to make his first start for the Villains, managing only 2 goals and an assist from his 10 substitute appearances. Despite being a regular inclusion in Aston Villa's first-team squads throughout the first half of the 2018-19 season, Bolasie unexpectedly returned to Everton in mid-January, exercising a clause in his loan agreement that permitted him to terminate the loan early. However, Everton manager Marco Silva appeared unenthusiastic about his return, downplaying the likelihood of Bolasie being considered for the first team and suggesting that another loan move would be the most suitable option. Within 10 days, Everton's director of football, Marcel Brands, arranged a loan deal to Anderlecht for the remainder of the season, where Bolasie made 16 starts, scoring 7 goals. Nevertheless, this successful spell in Belgium did not lead to a permanent transfer. Bolasie's time at Everton came to an end as his hefty transfer fee, which had been a significant outlay for the club, became a financial burden. A move to Turkey would follow, and then he had a brief spell at Swansea. Bolasie made his next move towards Brazil, Criciúma, and he has been making an impression at the club with his spectacular performances. In a recent match against Vitória, Bolasie delivered a standout performance for Criciúma. Playing on the left flank, he made a decisive assist for Mattheusinho, allowing his team to reduce the gap just before halftime. The Brazilian fans love him for his incredible skills, and it seems that Bolasie has finally found another home. There you have it on how an African showboater conquered the Premier League. What's your take on it? Let us know in the comment section. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.